Hi guys, how's it going? Ivano here with another video, and today we are going to be talking about targeting. So if you've watched the last videos in this series, then now you can properly see your enemies and you know how to move your character. But if you cannot target them, you cannot kill them. In general, there are at least two ways you can target enemies in Star Wars: The Old Republic. You can, of course, click on them, which will then put them in your target, and now you can hit them. But especially if you're playing PvP and those targets are going to be moving in a war zone, it's not that feasible to really click them all the time. So a better way to target them in this game will be by simply pressing the tab key. There's two basic keybinds that you can use. If I remember correctly, by default, the game under keybinds targeting has a lot of options here. You don't need to worry about all of them right now. The most important one that by default is mapped to your tab key would be target next enemy. So I have this mapped to a different keybind because the one that I mainly use when I play is not this one, it is target center screen enemy. So this is mapped to my tab key. What's the difference between them? Well, it's very simple. If you can see right now, my tab key will already show you the next target you're going to have with this little arrow here over the nameplate of this Zerka unit captain. And if I press the tab key, it will simply target him because he is in the center of my vision, the center of my screen. This is what this keybind does. Now, if I'm looking over at these guys over here, I can target them as well. So it'll show me right now I'm targeting this guy with the arrow. But looking over here, I can see this will be my next target. So if I want to select him, I simply press tab. He's in the center of my screen. He is now targeted. If I want to swap to this guy, and I press tab, nothing happens because he's not in the center of my screen. So this is a great way actually of using the center screen targeting by controlling your camera. So he's in the center of my screen, I can target him with tab. Now I turn towards this guy, he's in the center of my screen, I tap to him, and I keep turning, and always when I'm facing them directly, which is great for especially melee players, you press tab and you can simply target them like this. Okay, but some players, they prefer to use the target next enemy keybind. And how that works is you simply pick another keybind and then you will simply rotate through these targets here. So even though I'm still facing this guy, now I'm targeting this guy and it's circling from left to right through my targets. So if I hit the keybind again, I will target this guy, hit it again, I will target this guy. And like this is simply targeting through all of the enemies I can see currently from left to right. So this is another keybind that I use when I play a class that needs to swap targets a lot, especially ranged characters if you're playing Madness Sorcerer or something like this, because it lets you rotate through the targets without necessarily having to always rotate your character this way. But for melee classes, I would recommend for sure the target center screen enemy, and then you can simply kind of look at the guy, you hit tab, you'll target him. And once you're done with killing this enemy, you rotate your character, you hit target again. He is in the center of my screen, now I'm targeting him. Let's say he uses a defensive ability, I want to swap my target. I will anyway move my character over here, so I'm turning the character, and now I'm targeting him. There are some other keybinds you could use, however I don't necessarily recommend it. There would be, of course, target nearest enemy, so maybe for melee players this might be an option. However, I really prefer to use the one that I just showed, target center screen enemy. This works well for me. But then there are also different abilities which are using a different target mechanism, and those will usually be AoE abilities. So abilities that do damage in an area of effect. An example, and this is why I am on my main PowerTech right now, is Deadly Onslaught. Basically, if you use this ability, you will see this area of effect indicator on the floor. I can move it, and if I click, for example, with my left mouse button, it will trigger the ability. Now with this ground targeting AoE abilities, there's a couple of tricks you can do. For example, if you've bound this to your G key and you went to Settings, Preferences, Controls, and then scroll down to Combat, I would recommend that you activate Quick Ground Target Activation. So if this is not already on, activate it. And if you have this active, what you can do is you can also simply select an enemy, by using tab. Then you can double click this button or the keybind you have assigned to it, and will automatically trigger this ability aimed where they are at right now. So I'll demonstrate this. I'll walk over to this guy. I will double click G, and it will cast the AoE centered around him. This is nice if you're not that good at learning to target with the mouse. So it can be something that you can use sometimes in a very crowded situation. Okay, so aiming this with the mouse is superior because then you can aim it in a way that it will hit the maximum number of enemies. So this is what I recommend you practice and you get good at. Also, by aiming it with the mouse, you can get a little bit more range from it, because if I would be standing here and I would double click G, it would not hit him since it's too far away. It is out of range because it tries to center the area of effect around him. But if I aim it with the mouse, I should be able to just about hit him from here. So as you see, by targeting it on the ground, I can gain a little bit of range on this ability. And that's another reason why I should always target these manually. Okay, other important targeting keybinds that you should think about using is, for example, target of target and target next friend. Those are especially important if you're playing tanks or if you're playing a healing class. I'll quickly show, starting with the target of target maybe. So target of target is a system where you can see, let's say I'm targeting this guy. So I am targeting him and he is not targeting anything, right? But what if I want to see in a PvP match who he is targeting, right? Is he hitting me back or is he trying to hit my healer? This can be very important information in a PvP match. So in the interface, if you click escape and you go to the interface editor, you will see a little box that I have here called target of target. I can simply explain how this works. If I click on myself, then you can see I am targeting myself, and the target of my target is also myself. Another example, I'm going to target this unit captain here. You can see I'm targeting him. And now as soon as I'm going to be attacking him, he will target me and attack me back, right? So I can see up here in a second that now he is targeting me. Okay, why is this important? Well, it's important because if you see that an enemy is targeting you, you can be faster, you can be ready to react to it, and you can use a defensive cooldown, for example, before you even receive a lot of damage. So target of target is very important, even for DPS players, but especially for tanks, right? As a tank, one of your main jobs is to make sure that you are guarding whoever is receiving damage. And especially if you see your healers being targeted, make sure you swap your guard to them. So that's why target of target is important, and I really recommend that you set this up in the interface. But then there's another trick you can do, and this is what I wanted to talk about actually, and this is here in the targeting keybinds. And the keybind is acquire target's target. So I have it mapped to Alt plus S. You can of course use another keybind for this, but basically this lets you directly target the target of your target. So it's a lot of targets in there. Okay, so you can see my droid is attacking the suppression droid. I'm targeting the droid, and I can see that the droid is attacking my companion. So if I quickly want to target my droid, I could either click on the droid and give him guard, but a better way to do this is if I simply target this guy, I can see he's targeting my companion. I will hit the keybind for acquire target's target, and now I'm targeting my droid, and I can quickly guard him. So this is what acquire target's target does, and it's very useful, especially for tanks in PvP. Next up, something that I use as well when I play a tank or a healing class especially, is target nearest friend. Target nearest friend, I have it on the mouse wheel up, simply will do exactly that. It will target the nearest friendly player. So in PvP, this can be useful if you're running around, but if you're standing right next to someone, you want to guard your healer, you can simply use the target next friend keybind, and you can swap guard to them, for example. Okay, so another thing I use sometimes when I'm playing healers is target self. Again, you can map this to any key, and what it does, I think it's also pretty obvious. Let's just pick a keybind. I don't use this on my DPS pretty much ever because you're not gonna do damage to yourself. But if you're a healer, sometimes you want to quickly heal yourself, and in PvP, sometimes even clicking your own portrait or clicking your own name might be too long for you to get a cast off. So sometimes you just use this keybind, target self, and it will target your own character. Okay, final thing for targeting for now is something that we use a lot in group play, but you can also use it as a solo player. And that's, of course, down here, the target markers. These target markers that you can see here, you can map them to keys, or you can map them to mouse buttons. And it helps you communicate with your teammates in order to decide who are you going to focus, right? Who is the enemy player that you're trying to kill? So here you can see an example on how to use target markers in PvP. So we're in a war zone. So here, as you see, I'm targeting this assassin, and I want to communicate to my team that we're all going to converge on this target, and we're going to focus him and kill him. So what I do is I put the target marker on him, and now even in a second, you'll see over his head, he will have this crosshairs exactly here. So it's easier for my teammates to see, okay, this is the guy that we're going to focus. And now everyone is jumping on him, and we're killing him quickly here. So this would be an example to use target markers. And as you can see, we are typically using multiple markers. So this guy would be marked lightning, and we have another guy over there that was marked blaster. This also lets you communicate easier to your teammates if you're playing in a pre-mate, if you're playing with voice, with Discord or something like this. It's simply easier to say kill lightning instead of kill the marauder who is called I don't know what, right? There might be multiple marauders, there might be multiple players with similar names. So don't confuse yourself, use target markers, and it will let you play better with your teammates and focus up more. So that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.